Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to Royal Sussex Live. Welcome, one and all. Thank you so much for being here. You could have been just about any place else in the world, and I promise you it's not too late. Duchess of Advocacy was on earlier, and while I didn't get a chance to watch most of it, I did listen in to part of it, and it was fantastic as usual. Uh, ooh, the slide is not opening. Okay. Now it seems to be stuck. I think you all can hear me, but let me try that again. Um, hmm. I may need to do something here. Okay, so give me a second, and I think I can fix this. My fault. I was going too fast for the software, so I'm going to be very brave. All right. So I did that. Now I'm going to try to bring the slides up again. I'm going to take my time because I don't want to overload the circuits. This looks better already. All right. It froze on me, but I think we're good. The Wi-Fi looks like it's working okay. So, slides will be up in a minute. Let me see who was here first. Mary H, thank you for your dedication. I really do appreciate it. Hi, Carol Lunn, Maurice Brown, peace and joy. Lydia Washington, Rodney Jackson, Church Nellie, Fancy, Helen Marmon, Maurice Brown. Did I say that already? I sure did. Uh, okay. CK. Well, anyway, um, come in. Don't forget to hit that like button. Please do consider getting a membership. You guys, the membership is only $4.99. And I don't want to toot my own horn. Of course, if I could, I wouldn't be so. Well, anyway, um, but there's a lot of work that goes into Royal Sussex every single day. So please consider getting a membership because it goes a very long way to support the channel. Um, as you know, the ad revenue rises and falls for content creators. And sometimes the ad revenue just is not as much as it used to be. So, for the value that you get, please do consider getting a membership. No different than, let's say, your Spotify or your, what's the other one? The Netflix or something like that. $4.99. Now, there are some that are more pricier, but for $4.99, you can help support this platform. So if you can, please do. But if you can't, your likes and your subscribes, and of course, if you could even share the channel, it goes a long way to help support this work. So thank you very much. And again, hit that like button. All right, the good, the bad, and the ugly. So who's good, who's bad, and who's ugly? You remember that was a Clint Eastwood movie, right? The good, the bad, and the ugly. Oh, this sound, the sound. Audio. I don't know what I'm gonna do about this sound thing. Oh, it remember we went 3 days with no problem. And now all of a sudden that issue is back again. Let me check and see what that's on. All right, it's on manual. Um I don't know what else I could do to it. Maybe if I do this or I mean, I do believe that the software is up to date. Oh well. Weird how that just started out of nowhere. Anyway, I apologize for the sound issue. Maybe I should just get another mic, but this thing was so expensive. It's the same one that Tisa Tails use. That's why I got it. It's because she has one. But if it's not working, it's not working. I don't know what else I could do. Oh well. Um, thank you, Heather. What is it? Health and happiness. Health and happiness. Hey, health and happiness. Health and happiness. Hey, health and happiness. Was that who made that song? I'm just kidding. It was love and happiness. I know. All right. So, as I was saying, um, it's hard to believe that that is father and son. They almost, it looks like one of the twins has been age progressed. You know what I mean? It's like I can't I just can't describe it. They look so much alike. I mean, obviously one is older than the other, but I'm like, that's somebody's dad? No wonder the series is so popular. Joyce Yvette Davis, thank you so much for the oh wait, super sticker. And thank you for being here today. All right. Moving on. Here's another view of the action. You guys, this is a great series. If you have not been able to watch it, I would love to share my Netflix with you, but I have so many other people on the account. An account that I've had probably since 2011. And of course, I hang on to it for Harry and Meghan. But I think I'm going to watch it again. I know I need to watch the first one again. And I'm so far behind. I haven't watched Emily in Paris, and I have not watched. Oh gosh, what is it? I can't even think of it. It was something else I was supposed to watch. I think it was Umbrella Academy. Haven't watched that either, and a few other things. But I got to get caught up on my Netflix. Everybody else in the family uses it except for myself. Oh, cool. Thank you so much. Yes, let's give them as much support as we can. Now, this is a special treat for Church Nelly. A little eye candy goes a long way. There's nothing like Nacho Figueras in black. So there he is on the left side there with the black watch polo shirt on. And on the right side, there he is mounting that black stallion. Is that a stallion? Yeah, I think so. But there he is mounting the black horse. So, as I said, a little eye candy goes a long way. Since you all have been on your best behavior lately, I thought, why not? Should I send chocolates, flowers, or a shamelessly gorgeous images of Nacho, and I decided to go for the latter. And anyway, the world is a greater place because of it. I'm sure. 5 times. You know what? I need to just put it on and let it stay in the background and just turn around and look at the all of my favorite parts. Now, Prince Harry and Meghan are great at getting attention, says Netflix boss. Now, I want to thank the squatty who took this old article and put it back out there for our consumption. Just last week, I shared that article where what is it, Sarantos or whatever his name is, he was saying how he's been around many celebrities in his day. He said, but when he's in the company of the Duchess of Sussex, he observes the people around, and it is otherworldly because of the popularity of our Duchess. Now, that being said, it definitely connects to the words that were in the article that I just referenced. It says Prince Harry and Meghan are great at getting attention, says Netflix boss. Now, this article is from March the 12th, 2024. Prince Harry and Meghan, the Duchess of Sussex, are great at getting attention, and the public devours everything about them, that is. Netflix boss Ted Sarandos, oh, that's it, Sarandos, said during a recent speaking engagement, putting pause to speculation that the streaming giant partnership with the royals may be running out. And by the way, if that is the case, you know, it's business as usual. So Sarandos, co-CEO of Netflix, which signed a multi-million-dollar content creation deal with Harry and Meghan after they split from the monarchy. The move to the U.S. in 2020 discussed the couple during appearances at industry events in California earlier this month. Remember, this was March. The documentary we did on them is still one of our most watched documentaries. I repeat, the documentary that we did on them is still one of our most watched documentaries of all time. Of all time. And huge, particularly in the UK, where people just devour everything about them, he said. In a reference to Harry and Meghan's six-part docuseries that first aired in 2022, it was streamed over 81.6 million hours in the first week. 81.6 million hours, and that was the first week. And also, I just want to remind you that it actually locked up the system. It caused the Netflix servers to go down. Yeah, that was a big headline, is that the Sussexes kind of broke the internet. So he also hinted that the couple's future projects for the service, as they move into developing scripted content as part of the partnership, with one adaptation of a hit romance novel already announced, meaning, of course, Meet Me at the Lake. So they have not, um, you know, ironed that out yet, at least I don't think. But whatever the case may be, that is already in the works. I do think that they are also going to be very strong storytellers, he said, as evident by Polo, with great exposure to media in terms of what people want to talk about, what they think about, and they're great at getting attention. So I'm just reminding you about this because there has been a lot of negativity about the Sussexes ever since the docuseries dropped, and even today they were still at it. The very wise words of Leg says the Netflix CEO sat with Meghan last week at, oh yes, at the Paleys. Thank you very much for that, Legs. There you go. There's another occasion where, again, he had a chance to see the ability of at least one of the Sussexes to capture everyone's attention in the room. Thank you very much for that. So they've taken that attention and turned it into great philanthropic work around the world. And you can see the kind of impact that they have and they can have on other celebrities, which is very smart. And they're really happy with the one, too, with that one too, rather. Since their signing with Netflix, speculation about Harry and Meghan's working relationship with the streaming giant has circulated, compounded when Meghan's animated children's show, Pearl, was scrapped in 2022 while in development. In 2023, despite debuting one of Netflix's most watched docuseries, attention was again drawn to how long the partnership would last after two subsequent projects, Live to Lead and Heart of Invictus, failed to repeat their first success. This again was discussed when the couple and podcast partner Spotify announced a mutual split in the summer of 2023 after signing a similar multi-million dollar content deal in 2020. Now, with that Spotify thing, I do wonder if the what was it, the new CEO that's um had taken over at Spotify. I do wonder if that nasty negative comment that he made was a breach of contract. You understand what I'm saying? Was that a breach of contract? Did they have to send a letter via their lawyers, cease and desist? Or, in other words, you need to lock it up, sir. And it was highly unusual. And quite a few people said that whether you got everything you want or you haven't, whether you like them or you do not. And I think that's what the issue was. He just didn't like the Sussexes. The language that he used to disparage them was particularly offensive. And even people who are not their greatest fans said that that is almost unheard of, that you would speak of a client or someone on contract in such an awful way. That is unusual. But he felt emboldened to do that, most likely because he's just some right wing hack who wanted to impress his friends. That's it, and that's all. There was no logical reason for him to say the things that he said. There are dozens of people every month that have big contracts where they go their separate ways. And there's just some things you just don't do. And that was quite egregious as far as I'm concerned. And it was so bad that I've actually used the word, I don't even know what it means, but it was egregious. And if you don't mind, look that up for me because I'm not sure what it means, but I think I used it right. Egregious. I don't even know how to spell it, but that's what it was. Okay. Now let's move on. So, I got one more part to that. It also says Sarando's recent comments are in a sign that, I'm sorry, are a sign that Netflix and the royal couple are still committed to one another and follow Meghan's own statement in 2023 that she was excited about the future projects. And I do believe that was the one at the, oh gosh, what was it? That variety red carpet, right? When she said that she was excited. We have so many exciting things on the slate, she said, on the variety. Oh, there it is right there. On the Variety's Women of Power red carpet in Los Angeles. I can't wait until we can announce them, but I'm just really proud of what we are creating. And my husband is loving it too. So, and believe it or not, that article was from Newsweek, not one of their more nasty, offensive articles, but that was from Newsweek. Okay. Okay, let me see what else. She pities the Sussexes talking trolls. Oh yeah, and she believes she had a chance with him. Poor Delu. Yeah, I think her and probably Rebecca English. They thought they were more important than they actually were. But at least Rebecca English has actually traveled on those press things with him, which is more than Kinsey Schofield can say. By the way, wasn't she on a game show with Diddy? Was she on a game show with Diddy? I think Kinsey Schofield was on a game show with Diddy. I'm just asking for a friend. I know. Doesn't it give you creeps when you look at that Photoshop of her uh, pretending to take Meghan's place? God, that was jarring. All right. And once again, here's Harry at the book deal summit, was it? Um, this interview rattled the royal rodents for days. And at some point, they still talk about it. And this is the one that I mentioned yesterday where Rebecca English was like, oh, she's, well, you know what? She did say that she doesn't buy this idea that Harry wants to come back over there. I think at this point, the royal family must be exhausted with that talking point about no way back. And I believe the royal family asked or instructed Rebecca English to say it loud with her full chest so that the rest of them would stop this narrative about them coming back. It is not going to happen. And it is really to the royal family's benefit that they stop that type of narrative because it is distracting from the work they're doing over there, what little there is, but it's a distraction. It doesn't really hurt the Sussexes because it's so stupid. Everybody sees the amount of work that they have done. If you take nothing else from 2024, Nigeria, Colombia, Harry's trip to New York, Meghan popping up here, there, and everywhere, obviously they are working and everybody knows it. So, this idea that they are rejected and depressed and nobody wants to talk to them, their movements, their conversation says otherwise. So, they really just need to stop doing that because it is um, futile. It's going nowhere. And we know better. They have too much behind them now. Their body of work speaks for itself. So that's a no go. Lex says they called Harry and Meghan Doc a flop. Then they said Heart of Invictus a flop. More views than Drive to Survive. They are trying to control the narrative lies. Exactly. That's it. They want to create the mood. They want people to, they're trying to weaponize, or what's the other word I'm looking for? They're trying to, oh gosh. Anyway, they're trying to use these talking points um, against the Sussexes, but they really want the derangers to do it. They want the derangers to go into all of the chats and comments and radicalize. That's the word I'm looking for. They're trying to radicalize the derangers. with talking points. They are literally doing what they've always done, and that's feed them talking points. And now the talking points is everything that Harry and Meghan does is a flop. Just what was it yesterday? I showed you Harry's book where they said, "Oh, Harry is going to be humiliated because the sales of Spare. Look at how long Spare has been out, and the fact it is still on the New York Times bestseller list. What difference does it make if it's not selling as strongly today as it did when it broke the record for nonfiction in its first week?" And I'm pretty sure when it came to pre sales, it also broke the record. But they, like Leg said, thank you for the super chat, they're trying to make you believe it. They're gaslighting, they're using all of their propaganda and tricks and everything to try to make people believe that their work has no merit, is not successful, and is a waste of time when we know otherwise. Still the most watched docuseries, or one of the most watched docuseries, should I say, um, on Netflix. The one that broke the servers. Now, which is it? It can't be both. It can't be a winner and a loser at the same time, just because that's what they say it is. Buckingham Palace maid arrested after staff Christmas party went royally wrong and turned into a boozy brawl where glasses were smashed and punches were thrown at all bar one. Now, I think that means that it was at another location. It was not at Buckingham Palace. It was just their staff. Quite misleading headline. Royal staff were said to have gathered for drinks at the palace on Tuesday night, with around 50 making their way to Victoria Street to carry on the festivities. But that's when things took a wrong turn, rather. Much to do about nothing. The royal family was never in any danger. They said someone got arrested, but for the fact that they work at Buckingham Palace, we wouldn't even be having this discussion. As a matter of fact, because they work at Buckingham Palace, I am sure that they'll probably just get a slap on the wrist. Yeah, that's it, and that's all. There is no there. Joan Lawman, well, bless you. Thank you so much for the super chat, and thank you for being a member. On top of that, greatly appreciate it. And Joan Lawman has been a member for 24 months, 2 years of consistent membership. Now that I am deeply honored with that. Thank you so much. All right. Now let's get to this spot of bother. Jan Moore. Jan Moore. Shame on the women fawning over the hot assassin. Even shooting is now seen as entertainment. I love when she tries to be so moral. You have to wonder where the world is going when alleged assassin is celebrated, even deified, because he just happens to be, in the eyes of many, handsome and desirable. Let me tell you something. The fact that she wrote about this means that she's one of them. She's one of them. She's over there running ice cubes up and down. Well, you know what? I was going to say up and down her neck. Well, she's running ice cubes up and down that area. You know what I'm trying to say. I mean, she doesn't really have a neck, so I shouldn't. Well, against the side of her body. That's it. She's running. trying to cool off from this animalistic desire that she's feeling for Luigi. And all I can say to Jan Moore is, it's okay. We understand. We all understand where you're coming from. I mean, with abs like that and those amazing eyebrows, is there any wonder he's popular? Even before they saw the mask, or saw him without the mask, he was already breaking hearts. So she's in denial. She's pretending otherwise. I don't know how many cold showers that she's had since the news broke and they released some image of him, but she's probably feeling what everybody else is feeling. And to try to um, pretend otherwise, she's really in denial. Just like when she went after Tom Cruise, there's always the best looking guys. Those are the ones that she likes to confront, right? Uh, yeah, that is one of the things that has been alleged, of course. But the insurance business is a mess, and there is there is a model that they use for coverage that has caused a lot of bankruptcies, and also even worse than that, there's some people they say are not here anymore because of you know the insurance company. So I think that Luigi tapped into a sentiment that a lot of people felt, and he just decided to take action. Now, here at Royal Sussex, we do not condone violence, gratuitous violence. We do not condone that. However, there is a certain freedom of expression. And the fact that he has washboard abs that I was going to say, you know what, but alluring smile. Let me substitute the word alluring smile. Those incredible manicured brows. And of course, that wall of thick, curly black hair doesn't mean that he's getting any added attention for the sake of his looks. We are not that superficial. I am. Let's see. Lex says the old talking points were we have they done for I'm sorry, what have they done for I'm sorry about that. What have they done for Netflix, Spotify? The spring talking points are they are rebranding after failure last year. They did it with American Riviera Orchard, Limonada, Spare, and this year, the year before. Absolutely, legs. They want to own the message. The tabloid media wants to control the message. And you guys, I'm pretty sure whatever the strategy that these Sussexes have, there's got to be some place for the Sussex squad. There has to be. We all know that the Sussex squad has played their part in fending off a lot of the troubles. And that is something that, as long as we can do it, we will do it because they're on the right side of history. And I know that sounds kind of corny that I keep saying that, but that's how I feel. And I wouldn't say it if I didn't feel it. They are on the right side of history. And especially given the amount of hard work, the people that they have touched, the way that they have changed conversations on certain issues, it just makes me proud to support them. So thank you very much, Legs. Thank you for the super chat. Yeah, all of what Legs just said spells they tabloid media wants to control the narrative. And as they say in politics, never let your enemy define you. And they're trying to define the Sussexes. Now, the Sussexes could easily go on television. There would be people, I'm sure they get asked for interviews all the time. Too many interviews, you will cheapen your brand. Too many interviews leaves room for gaffes, mistakes. So I know, I know. I feel the same way. I would love to have more of the Sussexes, but we have to trust the process. We have to trust them to know the timing because too much of anything is not good. Too much of everything is even worse. So you don't want to water down things by allowing people to bully you into defending yourself. Now there's a time and a place for it, especially if there's a an outrageous lie about something, but they know what they're doing. And I just say, trust them to know what's best. Even though you have some little, um, what is that kid from Scotland, that one reporter that wrote an article, Meghan makes the worst decisions. What does that even mean? What does that even mean? Because we know how it works. Whatever they do, whatever they say, there's going to be the opposite push from the tabloids. And there is strength in silence. It worked for Queen Elizabeth. There's got to be a modern application to it somewhere. Yes, exactly, Joyce Post. They know what they're dealing with. uh, yeah. Just like what is it? Computers were supposed to make us better informed and smarter, and yet somehow big business, the media giants have managed to hijack the computers and the social media and such. And of course, with the Affordable Care Act and everything, it was supposed to give us more access and they couldn't refuse and all that kind of stuff. But it seems like we have not we have not progressed as much as we should when it comes to healthcare. And I do hope that changes for everybody because Lord knows they take in a lot of money. They take in a lot of money and they waste a lot of money by so many hands involved with coverage. The people they hired to deny just for the sake of it. Those bean counters. Oh, okay. Oh, I see. That's what I thought. I thought it was a matter of them trying to rattle the Sussex's cage to try to force them into reacting or defending themselves. That's what I thought it was a forced reaction. And plus, Harry was so good on that interview. Harry was so good on that interview. If he doesn't say anything for a long time, they had absolutely nothing that they could use against him on that interview. So what did they say? Rebecca English says, well, actually, several of them said the same thing, that it was a softball interview. If that is not the height of hypocrisy, they were just in South Africa with William. He had an interview. He shared nothing. He said a bunch of nothing. Nothing he said was relevant. Nothing about homelessness. Nothing about, well, let me just say this, nothing about him solving homelessness and nothing about him being a slumlord. None of that. You have this scathing report on Channel 4, and you as a reporter have the ability to interview him. Yes, he was there to talk about that earth flop, but you can always throw in a question about something else. And they chose to not do that. They just bypassed that. And they want Harry to be interrogated by the New York Times, whereas none of the British papers exercise their ability to shake down Willie. They just bypassed all of that. That was big news, and it should have been bigger, but they're protecting him. As I said, it's a protection racket. Hey, Ingrid Sowers, thank you so much for being here. Okay. And as we know, um, Jan Moore has a mouth on her. Now, there's been a couple of articles that she's done where she's actually said something that makes sense. And then, of course, there was that foolish trip that she took to Montecito, an all expense paid vacation by the Daily Mail, I presume, to try and get some dirt on Harry and Meghan, only for that German journalist to go there with five people. And the only person they could talk to is another tabloid journalist that's pretending to be their next door neighbor. That was all they had. Otherwise, nothing. I don't know if people speculate that the German lady thought she was going to get an interview, that she took a crew to get an interview. She could have hired locally to set up an interview. But the thing is, they weren't going to talk to him. Jan Moore, oh, what a breathtaking shamelessness. The person the queen most needs protection from is the smirking assassin, Prince Harry himself. You see how she talks? She's a great writer. Let me just say that. She's a good writer. She can put a tinge of irony in a way that is amusing for those who would find that amusing. I do not. And I'm sure that amongst the derangers, that was, something that delighted them. But it really speaks to her character, that she's an agitator, that she finds something negative and sarcastic about everything, as though people don't have anything negative or sarcastic to say about her. I don't think she really cares. Even Omid Scobie had to comment about her. The tragic irony of this Daily Mail columnist using a racist slur to rant about the biracial host of a podcast on the damaging labels used to dehumanize women. Oh dear. It's what was that she had wrote? It's a churning. It's oh god, I can hardly see that. Hold on a second. I want to see what she said in that article that got Omid Scobie to chime in. Okay. Yeah, it's the okay. It is charming that the Duchess believes herself to be a no introduction needed unnamed ultra, I'm sorry, one name ultra celebrity in the same league as Oprah. That's because she is. Adele, Beyonce, and Kermit. Oh my God, she's referencing Kermit the Frog. This girl is referencing Kermit the Frog. But the truth is that many Americans, she stubbornly remains anonymous rather than blah, 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 that word she used. I told you, she's a good writer. Still, how lovely to open up her home to another. Oh, that's where it got racist. Dumb mutt. Another dumb mutt. Now, that, I think, was racist. Another dumb mutt with barking issues. That was racist and misogynist, as if to say that Meghan, who is of mixed race, is to be compared to a dog, a mixed breed dog. See how clever that was? Imagine poor Mama Mia whimpering around the Montecito mansion, paws over her silky ears as Meghan recounts one of her more bloody times how she wrote to Procter and Gamble about its sexist washing up advert. And that is what Omid Scobie was speaking of, is that she, and of course, Omid Scobie, who is of mixed race, would also feel very sensitive about that. They hate the idea that Meghan, in her youth, uh, made a national appearance on a major news program because she wrote a letter not only to Procter and Gamble but to Hillary Clinton. Gosh, that news lady, I forget her name, and a couple of other people. She kept writing until she got a response. Was it Linda Ellerby? Anyway, she, Meghan, made a name for herself in her youth. And there were some people who even said, "Oh, yeah, I remember that." Just because that so called working royal family doesn't have anything comparable, even with the platforms they possess, they don't have anything comparable. Don't get mad at Meghan. And least of all, no need to use slurs cloaked as clever writing. Yeah, she's a monster. She's a monster. She's every bit the monster that she appears. She's every bit the monster she appears. And as they say, all of the tabloid writers, so called journalists, they all have a certain look about them. They all look as though they have been bullied in their youth. And now they go after everyone, especially people of color. That's their favorite. See, I love when Omen Scobie does stuff like that. He didn't have to do that. And of course, he didn't court any favor amongst the royal rota by taking her on, but he did because it was the right thing to do. The problem is, none of those so called journalists will ever call out each other. It is so rare that they'll do that. In the US, the mainstream journalists, at least in the past, you could never get them to turn a blind eye to something like this unless they were part of the increasing right wing media. This would have been unheard of in a mainstream American newspaper. Now, see, you messing with me. Baron, that weak eye versus drooping eye looking off in a different direction picture of Jan Moore is throwing me off. That chick is so ugly, it's hurting my feelings. Now, Marshall, we all God's children, and beauty is in the eye of the beholder. Just seems like somebody let her go. Now, here's another one. Jan Moore, why does Meghan Markle need to be so huggy wuggy? Huggy wuggy. In some ways, she writes brilliantly, and in other ways, I feel like it's a child that has taken pen to paper. Oh, what a breathtaking, shameless. Oh, okay. That's the one about Harry again. Meddling stars like Meghan and AOC just aren't as influential as they like to think. So, this one right here, she takes the most influential royal woman in the family and say that she doesn't have any influence. If Meghan doesn't have that much influence, how is it the Queen's funeral became about Meghan? How is it everything they do is about Meghan? If she doesn't have that much influence, why is it that they have to insert her name into everything? If they talk about clothes, they could really want to talk about Kate, but it's got to start off with Meghan. You know that. By the time you're done with the article, it's like, well, where's Meghan? Right? But they have to do that because it's the only way to ensure that people are going to look at it. And if you look in the comments, people you'll even see sometimes people say, I knew that you try to work Meghan in there somehow. It must take a lot of mental gymnastics to get Meghan Markle into an article about Kate Middleton. And of course, I know he's a charismatic gnome, but even as a Hollywood A-lister devoted to daredevilry, Tom Cruise gives me creeps. Tom Cruise gives you creeps? Tom Cruise gives you creeps? Now, see, if I was her, I wouldn't have had the courage to write that. One of the most attractive men in Hollywood, even making allowances for his age. Tom Cruise gives you the creeps? She compares Tom Cruise to a garden gnome. Do we really want people to make comparisons? Is she really strong enough to take comparisons? I mean, she's dishing them out. Is she strong enough to take a comparison? I'd be impressed to find out. She's literally critiquing Tom Cruise, comparing him to some type of garden ornament that looks like it's out of a Disney cartoon. If that is how you want the world to feel about Tom Cruise, how do we see you? How do we see you? All it takes is nerves, y'all. All it takes is nerves. You ever hear that? You ever hear your mama say, all it takes is nerves? And that's it. All it takes is nerves. You don't need anything else but nerves. It doesn't have to be true. It doesn't have to be correct. It doesn't have to be justified. You just have to have the nerves to say it. And that counts for everything. That makes up for any deficits if you got the nerves to do it. I don't get why she thought to write that. Even with his daredevilry, Tom Cruise gives me the creeps. Oh, really? Y'all, I'm telling you, when I first saw that, that's why I saved it. Because I knew that if I just said it in the future, nobody would believe me. I knew if I just threw that out there, nobody would believe me. So I made it a point to save it, to make sure that people know that I wasn't making that up. I mean, it doesn't mean she doesn't have a right to her opinion, but does she? Does she? Now, as you know, in the past, I was of the opinion that upon arrival to the United Kingdom back in the 19 what 70s or 80s or whatever it was, um, the actor Jack Elam may have met someone on that island and produced a love child. Now, I can't say that is true, and I can't say it's untrue. I'm just, you know, guessing because otherwise, I don't know how that how they could be that identical. Now, mind you, a very respected character actor he was, Jack Elam. You must admit that the resemblance is uncanny. Yeah, you must admit that. Don't know what to do with their hair. That you know that stare that says, "Which way did he go? Which way did he go?" You know what I'm saying? Well, like I said, all it takes is nerves. I just think that if Jack Elam was alive today, he would be rolling over in his grave. This is the person who compared the Duchess of Sussex to a barking mutt. And if she did not mean it like that, it damn show came close. So if we are to think of the Duchess in that way, how should we think of you? That's why I say it just takes nerves. It takes nerves. And someone signed off on this. Still, how lovely to open up her home to another dumb mutt with barking issues. We get it. We know what you're trying to say. It's a lot like that feeling that that Sarah Vine had. It's kind of like that feeling that Sarah Vine had. It's kind of like that image that Danny Baker posted, right? A dog whistle. That's what you call a dog whistle. So it's no wonder Omid Scobie was offended. Blah, blah. It seemed like anything Jack Elam says, the first thing comes out is blah, blah, blah. Every sentence he reads, every line that he says in the movie, it always starts off with blah, blah, blah. But if my theory is correct, I'd love to see what the mama looked like. I bet you the mama is probably Raquel Welch. Wouldn't that be an irony? Mm-mm-mm. With barking issues. That was clever. That was clever. But I'm with Omen Scobie. It she went there. This is why I save receipts. This is why. So when people like that try to, make it seem like, oh, that's not what I mean, or try to have some hidden meaning that they think people do not understand. Well, now we know that she has a track record for that type of language. Better to know the ways of your enemy. So apparently, the Duke of York, who is the real villain in the family, as far as I'm concerned. Actually, they're all terrible. William, Camilla, um, old love chunks here. All of them are pretty despicable, except for the children. The children are okay. But those adults, those so called working royals, and this one who has been taken out of commission, they're all pretty abominable. Buckingham Palace can't really wash their hands of Prince Andrew, try as they might. He's a brother of the king, an uncle of a future king, the eighth in line to the throne. And it's going to stay that way for a very long time, at least 10 years. I'm going to estimate at least 10 years. He is going to be eighth in line to the throne. And to pretend as though some of the connections that he has made over the years are not important, they are. He just came up with a huge sum of money, which they claim is not, you know, a conflict of interest to the royal family, although we have yet to hear where the money came from. And he's just like William and just like Charles. You don't know where they're going to get their next Folsom and Mason bag full of money. You just don't know. An alleged Chinese spy who formed an unusual degree of trust with the Duke of York has been banned from the United Kingdom after a judgment by UK's semi-secret National Security Court. Connie Balmer. Hey, Connie Balmer. Thank you so much for being here. The man known only as H6 has described as a close confidant of Prince Andrew brought an appeal against his initial ban, but the decision was upheld by the court. Judges were told the businessman was attempting to, I got to move myself from here. Attempting to leverage Prince Andrew's influence. Buckingham Palace declined to comment, saying they do not act for the prince, who is not a working royal. That made up title, working royal. So, anyway, a little spot of bother for the end of the year. Now, this is so stupid, y'all. I can't believe I'm even going to bother, but it just gives me a chance to remind you. So, Prince Harry and Meghan suffer a blow as Montecito house prices fall amid cutting amid cutting you. I don't know why that's even important. Cutting UK ties. They cut ties 4 years ago. Why do they make it sound like it's recent? They almost make it sound like the dropping value has something to do with the fact that they left the UK. It certainly does not. Prince Harry and Meghan Markle suffer a blow as Montecito house prices fall amid cutting UK ties. The Duke and Duchess of Sussex reside in an exclusive California neighborhood. Prince Harry and Meghan Markle could face a significant financial challenge with their Montecito mansion as local property prices have plummeted. All I can say is, again, the Duke and Duchess of Sussex, who reside in an exclusive California neighborhood with their children, Prince Archie and Princess Lilibet, purchased their home for £11 million in 2020. Now, this is where I get a little snarky. Let's take a little trip down memory lane, shall we? Prince Harry. Now, this is an article from the Fail from 2020, I believe. Prince Harry and Meghan Markle bought their new California mansion from a Russian businessman with 9.5 million mortgage after the price was knocked down by more than 10 million. The Fail can reveal the Daily Hail. The couple bought the sprawling 9-bedroom, 16-bathroom mansion in upscale Montecito for 14.65 million on July the 18th, making them neighbors with C-Labs, Oprah Winfrey, and Ellen DeGeneres. The 14,563 square foot home, known as the Chateau, sits on a 5.4 acres of land and immaculately clipped hedges, border, and a state stone pillar entrance gate. The seller is thought to be a Russian tycoon, Sergei Grishin, who bought the palatial mansion for more than 25 million in 2009. Now, remember these numbers. The Sussexes reportedly paid just under $15 million. The mansion was built, I believe it was built for 25 million in 2009. So this is after the 2008, and had tried to sell the mansion. Now, this is the very important part here. He listed the mansion for up to 34 million before eventually accepting a loss. Why? Because of 2008. You get where I'm going with this? After 2008, people just wasn't buying. Grisham is also the former owner of a different California state known as the Scarface Mansion because it appeared in the 1983 Al Pacino movie, which sold for a similarly cut price, $12 million in 2015. Why is this important? Connie Balmer, thank you so much for the super sticker, and thank you for being a member of Royal Sussex. So, property listings, that is, says the home took nearly 5 years to build. Harry and Meghan's house took about 5 years to build and included a library, office, spa with a separate dry and wet sauna, a gym, that other thing, game room, arcade, theater, wine cellar, and a 5-car garage. So even if the value of the home has declined along with the rest of the properties in Montecito, let's get back to the part where it says the home was first listed for $34 million, which means that the Sussexes paid less than half of what the initial asking price was. They purchased it at just the right time. During the throes of the global pandemic, when most people were unable to or unwilling to risk using money in such a way, the Sussexes laid that big fat check on the table, reportedly financed the rest, and got themselves a beautiful, sprawling estate. So if the home has lost any value, so effing what? It's their house. Okay? It is their house. And they got it for a song and a dance. There's no way that that house should have sold for so little money, but it did because God's intention was much greater than the negativity and the dishonest comments of the tabloid media. They were in the right place at the right time, under the right circumstances. And I tell you, they may buy a bigger house, They may buy a smaller house. They may have actually purchased a second house, but there's never going to be anything, in my opinion, as beautiful as where they are right now. They literally have an ocean view. Okay? There's an ocean view. It is a gated community. There's almost no images of them inside of that gated community. They're in the right place. I don't care about that 14%. It has to go a lot further than that before they have actually lost anything. And we all know as the prices go down, they're going to go back up again. So this is much to do about nothing. If the value of the house was 34 million back in what 2009, imagine what it would be worth when the Sussexes sell it with all of the, celebrity that goes with them owning that house. Much to do about nothing. They want people to believe that the Sussexes are in peril. They are not. They are rich, and in spite of all of the negativity, they have been quite successful. They have worked hard. They have made great impressions on people that are worth impressing, and they have been nothing but successful. So, this idea that they suffer a blow, and to drive the point, they make sure that they find a photo from the Queen's funeral. Nice try. Nice try. But I'm not buying it. Selling so soon? Why Prince Harry and Meghan Markle's California home was no fairy tale. See there? That's 2022. They have been talking and discussing all of the things that are going wrong for the Sussexes at their stately, palatial, opulent, and also picturesque Montecito mansion. Now it is 2024, soon to be 2025. Um, they're still there. They're still there. Reports are circulating that although the comedy couple have enjoyed the beauty of the A-list celebrity enclave, um, they are so happy with their. I'm sorry, aren't so happy with their 18,000 square foot mansion they purchased for that price a mere 18 months ago. Signs are afoot that they are quietly trying to sell their home and considering buying another in the area. Now, Harry just talked about that on the book deal or deal book or whatever. They have moved 12 times, they have divorced 10 or 12 times. As the song says, do nothing till you hear from me, meaning don't believe any of this nonsense. I haven't heard Harry and Meghan say anything about buying a home in Portugal. If they did, gravy. If they did not, I really don't care. If I don't see those kids until they complete college, I'm happy with that too. Yes, minding their own business. Uh-oh, again? Check 1, 2, 3. Okay. Oh, thank you, Antoinette Kennedy. Yeah, sometimes people sign in later and you know, from where they start off, it may be kind of wonky, but yeah, I'll try to leave this up in the corner here. Late Queen Memorial could cost up to £46 million as search begins for design team. Well, of course, the National Memorial to Queen Elizabeth has a provisional construction budget of as much as £46 million, with the government calling on leading artists, architects, and engineers to compete to design the project's master plan. All of this at a time when there are people that are hungry. People are suffering. Now, of course, we're going to depend on Martin of what is it? Ministry of Hacks to help us out with this one. Oh my goodness, you know what? I didn't save it. That's okay. It only take me a minute to find it. Huh. Now that's interesting. I don't see it. Oh, there it is.
Friends, well, there's a plethora, that's a good word, isn't it? Things I could talk about in my last video of today, but I've chosen this one. The other two things could have been Charles and William's £179 million a year profit from just being landlords. That's right. Morning, friends. Well, there's a plethora, that's a good word, isn't it, of things I could talk about in my last video of today, but I've chosen this one. The other two things could have been Charles and William's £179 million a year profit from just being landlords. That's right, tenants in the freezing cold. And that Charles has invited 45 royals around for Christmas lunch. Well done, British taxpayer, because you're paying for all those lazy to enjoy that lunch. You're paying for everything. Let's get back to the story. Get to the point, Martin. I hear you cry. I'm not sure in this economic situation that we're in, where we're claiming that we can't afford to pay nurses a decent wage, that spending £46 million on a statue of someone that we now know literally charged charities tens of millions of pounds a year. Yeah, literally taking money directly out of collection boxes, and was the head of numerous other pieces of shady activity. I've got to be careful what I say. I'm not sure erecting a statue to honor someone of that caliber is the best thing to do in Britain. I honestly think that sometimes the rest of the world must be absolutely laughing at us. The taxpayers bear the burden. The people at the top do whatever they want. That's all I'm going to say. Comments are open, guys. Have a brilliant Friday. Let me know what you think. Morning, friends. Well, there's a plethora, that's a good word, isn't it, of things I could talk.
Okay. A plethora. So let's see how much traction this gets. Because as we know, the tabloid media are not there to hear the cries of the working class people. They are there to protect the images of the royal family. Okay. Now, it seems as though Charles was also in another spot of bother. I'm going to share this video. I have to turn the sound down because it has some music in the background that might be problematic for me. So, but I thought they were going to um I thought they were going to knock this poor woman down for crossing the path in front of Charles, who, well, anyway, you'll see it. Now, remember, I got to turn the sound down. Okay, give me just a second. It needs to load. Okay, now it's coming. There it is. Oh boy. You see that? You see the lady with the white hair? Watch it again. What in the world was he going to do to her? You see the way she looked back at him? One more time. And she's like, I just needed to get past. She wasn't really interested in Charles. She's trying to get to work or get home or whatever. And you see how he rushes over there? Now, Charles is making a lot of these visits unannounced, right? They don't tell people until just before the visit takes place. And by doing that, they don't have as much security. They don't have a lot of, you know, it looks like they do have some barricades there, but they're trying to avoid Republic. And so they're making these visits unannounced. And if they're going to a business of some sort or government office, I believe what they do is they get the employees to go outside. Now, I remember they did that last year or not long after the Queen died or something like that, where they have the people go outside to greet Charles. And this poor lady, this is part of her commute or whatever. And he's like, ah. And this is that guy that always has that nervous look on his face. It looks like he's got a little facial tick where his mouth is always, kind of weird. But yeah. So I thought that was very interesting. If they don't stop doing this, they're going to have problems because they keep doing these surprise appearances so that Charles can seem as though he's amongst the people and that everybody is in love with him. He's trying to avoid Republic showing up with their yellow and black signs saying "Not my king." So yeah, that is something that they've been doing a lot of lately. All right. Let me see here. Go back over here. Now, Princess of Wales, hold your seats now. You guys hang on to something heavy because this is going to shock you. Princess of Wales is not back to normal. But there are signs of light at the end of the tunnel. A family friend claims the Princess of Wales is not back to normal, but there are signs of light at the end of the tunnel. A family friend has told the US magazine, US magazine people. They finally have the mother of all excuses for Kate to stay home. She has her good days, she has her bad days. It was cancer found, but it wasn't cancer. It was precancerous cells that they treated with what do they call it? Anti-cancer treatment, something like that. It's a lot of things. The one thing it doesn't seem to be is completely true. There's always a hole in it. But Kate is not back to normal. I tell you, when I saw that, I was just devastated. I was like, oh, dear God, what are we going to do if the laziest person who has ever drawn a breath is unable to work? I would imagine we'll do what we always do and just pretend like she doesn't exist. Why do they even bother? I think they do this to prime the public into believing that Kate is anguished by the fact that she's unable to be there for the people, like she's Ava Perón. I come for the people, they need to adore me. So Christian Dior me from my head to my toes. I need to be fantastic and I shall be rainbow high because the people need their savior and so do I. They make it seem like she's going to break out into one of those songs from Evita where she's pining about getting back to her people. The last thing she cares about is people. The last thing she wants to do is work. Exactly. Exactly. It just goes on and on. It is like a broken record. It's like a broken record. It's like they just need to have something to interject there. I have good evidence that this is not a surprise. Cape Middleton is not back to normal, but there are signs of light at the end of the tunnel. Now, there's a little more content there. The Princess of Wales, they blah, blah, blah. She won't be going back to work in the same way for a long time. An insider said said to the publication, while a source close to the palace added she is focused on herself and her family right now. She is focused on herself and her family right now. It comes after fans caught a glimpse of Kate when the future queen was joined by members of the royal family and dozens of special guests to record her fourth Together at Christmas carol service last week. Now, you guys, to be fair, oh, you mean that hidden talent, the jazz hands? Stand back, Buenos Aires, because you want to know what you're going to get from me. Just a little bit of Argentina brand of star quality. I used to love the Evita soundtrack. I come from the people, they need to adore me. So Christian Dior me from my head to my toes. uh Anyways, what's that? He was friends with oh, Lex says she has a touch of a touch of the ditzy. Get the what is that? Wow, I can't even pronounce that. But anyway, thank you for the super chat. You know what, guys? I haven't done this for quite some time, but I probably need, because it's only fair, I probably need to reach out to Kensington Palace. That's what I need to do. I need to reach out to Kensington Palace for comment.
Well, obviously, it'd be. I would love to have met her, and she's obviously she's an inspirational woman to look up to. Obviously, to this day, and going forward and things. It is. It's a wonderful family. The members who I've met have achieved a lot, and very inspirational. So, yeah, I do.
We heard you, girl. We heard you. Now, Kate Middleton does not have cancer. Preventive chemo means a treatment to prevent cancer from forming. She probably had cancer cells, and they're giving her treatment to prevent cancer. Now, that is what one person has observed from everything that we have learned. So, it is a catch all. Using the cancer was a brilliant move in one respect because it means that people are going to be afraid to say anything um, disagreeable. But on the other side, it also created a lot of conflicting information. It was even said that when she made that appearance on the bench, that a lot of people in Kensington Palace didn't even know that was going to happen. So it caught a lot of people off guard. And still to this day, there is no production crew that takes credit for that video. They used the BBC, they used their name saying that the BBC produced the video because more people trust BBC than any other news source in the United Kingdom. So that's why they had to use the BBC. Because if you remember, William declared that he's no longer dealing with the BBC, right? He said that they're not dealing with them. As a matter of fact, the Christmas Carol was first broadcast on BBC. And then when he had a falling out with the BBC about the panorama and all that stuff, he said they're no longer going to trust the BBC. They're no longer going to use them. And they moved the Christmas Carol over to ITV. But, William, the little petty queen that he is, he fell out with Tom Bradby because Tom Bradby showed consideration to Meghan and Harry. So Tom Bradby laid into Harry when they had the interview about Spare so that he can get some of his integrity back. It's if you keep falling out with people, where are you going to use your propaganda people? But yeah, so that's what happened. Okay, the royal family keeping Catherine away. All right. Well, that's what someone said is that they don't really want her talking to people. Oh, I just cannot. I knew it was something like that. I just cannot pronounce it. I cannot pronounce that word. And I know I've heard it before. I just cannot pronounce it. Is that Latin? I cannot say the word. Yeah, that is what she said. And the way that they wrote that speech was deliberately misleading. It was deliberately misleading. There was no way that that was going to be the last word because it was misleading. And even at the time on CNN, an American doctor had problems with the language that was used. It was an American doctor that had a problem with the language that was used. 2023, lack of engagements. Even the cartoon version, lazy. Lazy, lazy, lazy. I love that photo. I love that. That was the best thing about that cartoon was the lazy depiction. Yikes. Kate Middleton called lazy by the Queen, nicknamed her Duchess of Doolittle. Is Prince William too lazy to work? Yeah. Duchess of Cambridge, lazy Katie. As she is fondly, and she is feuding with the Queen, Queen Elizabeth, of course. Well, she almost met her match, but It's embarrassing to admit that Camilla works more than she does. I can't say I was a regular attender of libraries. Prince William confesses as he was lazy at university. I don't even know why he bothered. Duke and Duchess paid visit to Taj Mahal in India like Princess Diana, but in the main, it's been boring. And that's because they're boring. They couldn't cobble together a personality between them. We all know he really doesn't want to be there, but is under instruction from the palace to pull his fingers out and look interested. Pull his fingers out of what? To pull his fingers out and look interested to dispel rumors that he's a lazy type. What is he pulling his fingers out of? Anyway, that article was written by, I believe, Carol Malone. They could not cobble together a personality between the two of them. And as we know, 127,000 pounds an hour, he has only done less than a month's work. Spread over 12 months, he's not worth it. Hashtag abolish the monarchy. 127,000 pounds an hour. And the reason why that number is so high is because he's worked so little. I had to, I know I shared this before, and I guess I didn't catch it that time. The palace, he was instructed from the palace to pull his fingers out and look interested. Okay. Hmm. Well, they said what they said. Princess Kate, Prince William slammed as lazy for lack of 2023 engagements. And over here, petulant, arrogant, lazy. That is how this one person described him. Petulant, arrogant, and lazy. And there's some more. Some people are so lazy they can't even put drawers on. That's how lazy they are. Unbearable lightness of Kate Middleton. We all know about Kate Middleton. Revolves around clothes, nightclubs, wedding, toffish country pursuits, and expensive holidays. Is there anything behind the expectant smile other than an empty life? That's how they used to write about her before Meghan showed up. Empty, lackluster, lazy. And more lazy. And of course, I actually wrote a song. On the first day of Christmas, my true love sent to me 1 Cater Keening, 2 lazy Cambridges, 3 homes that are empty, 4 nannies overworking, 5 press briefings. I wrote that myself. 1 Cater Keening, 2 lazy Cambridges, 3 homes that are empty, 4 nannies overworking, 5 press briefings. I even threw a little high note at the end. Now, Kate Middleton snubbed as huge award goes to convicted President Donald Trump. Yes, convicted President Donald Trump. Oh, I made a mistake. I actually used the background that looks like the pits of hell. I didn't do that deliberately. But somehow, by chance, I was trying to find a nice background to complement the colors of the Daily Mirror. And the background that I inadvertently threw up there is the pits of hell. That was a faux pas. I did not mean to do that. Faith has a way of evening things out, doesn't it? Um, Now there's this. Willie Leaks was so eager to meet with Donald Trump. Now, earlier today on another channel, I heard someone mention that it was reported that he met with Donald Trump for 2 hours. Another publication said it was more like 30 minutes. What people need to know is this is the ambassador's residence. Donald Trump was invited to meet the ambassador. William, I'm going to just go on a limb and say William was not supposed to be there. William decided to hijack the situation and show up. Do you think that Charles was comfortable with the idea that the first royal to meet with this slob was not himself, but William, the petulant? I do not think that that was the way it was supposed to go. It's just like when Kate went to the Chelsea Flower Show before Charles and Camilla arrived. The houses were not in sync. Clarence House or Buckingham Palace did not expect Kate to be there. By the time Kate showed up at the Chelsea Flower Show, all of the front pages ran with photos of Kate instead of Queen Godzilla, the Queen Consort. And this is another instance where William has decided to assert himself in a way that is likely embarrassing to Charles. He just embarrassed Charles when he was in South Africa, when William wasn't talking about being a slumlord, when William was not discussing the Channel 4 documentary. He said that he's going to be a very different king from his father. Even though his father is still alive, William speaks as though he's already in transition. Charles allegedly, supposedly, has cancer. He is trying to build his legacy as king. And yet, his son is going around reminding people that he's not going to be here that long, just like Donald Trump is running around reminding people that he's on his way in and Joe Biden is on his way out. Both of these people are being completely obnoxious. Both of them. It is unprecedented that William is there to meet President-elect Trump before Charles. It is unprecedented that President-elect Trump is meeting with other government leaders before he's inaugurated. Ooh, now you know what? You know what? And he'll probably go because they say he invited the president of China. He'll probably go. Yeah, he'll probably go. I do not believe that this was supposed to happen. I believe that the bulk of the meeting was with the ambassador from the United Kingdom, the British ambassador. That is the home of the British ambassador. And William is a guest in that home because he's not the head of state. He's just the, next in line. He is abusing his position. He is clearly abusing his position, so eager. And this is what people have been afraid of, is that William seems to do things for an audience of one. He wants so desperately to get the jump on Harry for everything that he has embarrassed his father time and time again. Exactly, Hazel. That's the right word. They are usurpers, and usurpers are never gracious. Oh, I love that. They are usurpers, and usurpers are never gracious. Here, here. Now, let me play this for you. Um, they're trying to clean it up, by the way. They're trying to clean it up.
Said about meeting with William, and I was a bit shaken by this quote. I don't know about you. It says, I asked him about his wife, and he said she's doing well. And I asked him about his father, and his father is fighting very hard, and he loves his father, and he loves his wife. So it was sad. That's a pretty downbeat statement. What did you make of that?
I have to say, the palace won't have liked that at all, because the juxtaposition of saying Catherine's fine,
Yeah.
but with Charles, it's very sad. For me, I just thought, oh dear, is he saying that the king's more ill than we think he is? We know that Trump makes the odd faux pas and he does real talk better than anyone. So, it was kind of unnerving, because you think, has he found out something that we don't know?
It could be, because remember that Catherine has completed her treatment.
Yes.
Whereas the king's treatment is still going. So maybe William was kind of saying that.
Yeah.
Then Donald Trump kind of interpreted that as he's still fighting, which
Right. Okay.
the king's still being treated. That's a fact.
I hope you're right, Richard. Well, now, Natasha, we'll stick with William for a minute. A couple of days earlier.
I'm going to play that one more time.
With William, and I was a bit shaken by this quote. I don't know about you. It says, I asked him about his wife, and he said she's doing well. And I asked him about his father, and his father is fighting very hard, and he loves his father, and he loves his wife. So it was sad. That's a pretty downbeat statement. What did you make of that?
I have to say, the palace won't have liked that at all, because the juxtaposition of saying Catherine's fine, but with Charles, it's very sad. For me, I just thought, oh dear, is he saying that the king's more ill than we think he is? We know that Trump makes the odd faux pas and he does real talk better than anyone. So, it was kind of unnerving, because you think, has he found out something that we don't know?
It could be, because remember that Catherine has completed her treatment.
Yes.
Whereas the king's treatment is still going. So maybe William was kind of saying that. Then Donald Trump kind of interpreted that as he's still fighting, which he's still being treated. That's a fact.
Like I said, he has been an embarrassment to his father, repeatedly an embarrassment to his father. Charles is going through whatever he's going through. He's doing far more work than William. And for that, he is being repaid by his son undermining his position time and time again. He was late for the coronation because it was more important to make those silly videos to post on social media than to show up at the church on time. William fears no one. The only person that he fears is whoever's holding his secrets. Whoever is in control of whatever his secrets are, the things that he doesn't want people to know, that's the only person or people that he respects. That does not include his father. And I don't feel sorry for Charles, because Charles has made it a point to take and take and take things away from Harry, to try to embarrass him and mistreat him and his family and on the world stage. Taking his security away, kicking him out of his house. He's only got 5 minutes to meet with him to tell him about the cancer. Oh, he won't meet Harry unless Camilla's there. All of those things. So I don't feel sorry for him. Maybe this is his just desserts for the way he's treated his son. Doesn't matter what has happened. Harry has spoken the truth, and that's it. It is not hyperbole, and I don't even know what that means either. It is the truth. Like father, like son. Absolutely. Like father, like son. And that mysterious cherry uh, lip gloss that he's wearing, I don't know if it's medicated or not. I don't know if that lip gloss he wears is for medicinal purposes, but maybe that's why they rushed to get that woman out the way. They didn't want her to get smushed with all of that cherry lip gloss. I don't know. Um uh yeah, I know. I know that's one of the most ironic things. They love the Affordable Care Act, but they certainly don't want that Obamacare. Yeah, I like this Affordable Care Act, but I don't want that Obamacare. I don't want anything that comes from him. He's a Muslim. I don't want that. I want the Affordable Care Act. Well, you know that the Affordable Care Act is Obamacare. No, it didn't, because I got this from the state of Alabama. This is Alabama Care. Yeah, which comes from the Affordable Care Act. Well, then it's not Obamacare. It is Obamacare. That is what the Democrats voted for. Nah. What's that? Marshall says President Biden is getting many licks in on Orange, but before he leaves office, he auctioning material for the walk starting at $5. And Chump is livid. Our tax paid for it. Chump can use his own money. Here, here. Here, here. Oh, Connie, your house is going to be crowded because if you knew how many people are ready to jump ship and go to Switzerland, yeah, the population of Switzerland is going to increase significantly by January. Who knows? I may even show up. Any place where they got sausages and chocolate, that's where I want to be. When I changed trains in Switzerland, I found that they had some Bratwurst. So, of course, between trains, I had to have a couple of those Bratwursts. Oh my God, it was so good. Yeah, it was so good. Just like in Germany, the sausage was on point. It was on point. Oh gosh, I mean, I belched my way out of the city of Cologne. I belched my way out of Cologne, eating sausage after sausage after sausage. They sold them on the street. They sold them in the restaurants. And the only thing I could say was, yes, please. uh, okay. Anyway, you guys, I do believe I am done. This was the last slide. I've already showed you the video, so I don't have to do that. And if you have any last comments, please let me know. Are you comparing King Charles III to that lip smacking, lipstick smushing Angela Latrine? Let's see if there's any resemblance. There she goes. Yeah, I don't think Charles is that bad. I think people would probably take notice if Charles put that much on his lips. Yeah, I think people would notice if Charles put that much on his lips. I tell you, once you see it, you cannot unsee it. Okay. Oh, okay. Okay. I just thought people were trying to escape Trumpism. I thought a lot of people were trying to escape Donald Trump. Yeah, Donald Trump don't do anything for free. If it's not something in it for him, he's not interested. Okay. Yep. Any more comments before we go? If not, I am going to say goodnight and I'll see you all tomorrow. Hopefully, I'll be on earlier tomorrow. Tomorrow's Saturday. You guys, I hope Celebici comes on. Celebici has not been on for a while and I miss them. They usually upload in the early hours of the morning. Oh wait, it's they come on Saturday. So yeah, I hope they come on. Anyway, I hope you guys have some great plans for the holidays. This is the first year that I have not had a wreath on my door. I didn't get the real one because I'm tired of all the pine needles and stuff. And then I said, well, I better go ahead and get it. And the only ones they had were the little ones. And if I keep waiting, I mean, there will be just no point to it. So I don't think I'm going to have a wreath this year, but I always have a wreath up at the door. Yeah. And I got to like put the lights on it and everything. So we'll see. Yeah, it's been a tough holiday season with some family stuff, but I love Christmas so much. I'm just always able to make the most of it because I think of all of the memories from my youth and what it's always meant to people that I've known and loved that are not here anymore. So um, I do it for myself and I do it for them. Oh, good night, Church Nelly, if you're still here. Let me see. Do I see Church Nelly? Oh, that's the wish list, isn't it? Thank you very much. It is what? Um, almost 10 shopping, yeah, 10 or 11 shopping days to Christmas. I'm going to post the wish list up there at the top. Now, you guys are not obliged to order anything from that wish list, but if you do, as per usual, I am going to be very, very happy. All right, pin message to the top of the wish list. Okay, yeah, I put it up there. So that is the official Royal Sussex wish list. Oh, your dad's birthday. I will wish your dad happy birthday from the Sussex squad. And I hope he has an amazing day. We all hope he has an amazing day. Make sure you tell him. Happy birthday, Tilly's dad. And many happy returns of the day. George Blackie. I haven't seen George Blackie on here for a long time. Ah, there you are. Top of the morning, or yeah, it was probably morning most places, isn't it? Top of the morning, and thank you for joining us. Oh, I'm sorry about that. You missed it. Yeah, I would love to say you missed it, but I was here, and I don't know if I'd say that. Little self-deprecating humor. I'm not sure you really missed anything. Oh, why is that monster still on the screen? There we go. Let me get her off that screen. I don't like that either. You know what? I'll find something pleasant. There we go. Okay. In my solitude. That's good to hear. Oh, what about Robert Collins? If you're listening, Robert Collins in Rome, oh my God. If you guys could imagine how beautiful that must be to live in Rome, an ancient city filled with so much art and treasure, and you know what I'm saying? Oh my goodness, just statues and monuments. To be so close to the Vatican, I tell you, if you want to feel small, if you've never felt small before, go to the Vatican. It is so massive. You are going to be humbled by the scale of the place. Humbled. Okay. Well, I think we're good. No more comments? No questions? Nothing? All right. Well, love you guys as always. Thank you very much to the moderators for keeping this the safe space as it is. By the way, I got to go and check the you know the messages. I'm sorry, I have not been on the messages, not here the live chat, but the messages in a while. All right. Did we get over 1,000 people in the live chat tonight? I did not look at all. For some reason, I never looked up to the top to see what the numbers are. Just curious. Yeah. Well, like I said, I cannot believe that that is somebody's daddy. I mean, that is someone's dad. You know what I'm saying? There's not that many people that have a dad that look like that, let alone a son that looks like that, but that's somebody's dad. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. I don't know what's in the water down there in Argentina. I really don't, but it must be something in the water because everybody in Argentina looks like they're ready to do an ad for Ralph Lauren Polo. Maybe it's just polo. Maybe it's just the act of playing polo. You know what I'm saying? There's something to it. Oh, Poliva girl, you know what? I hear you, and I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna do that really soon. Do you have any suggestions someplace that I've been already? Because I got a ton of photos. I got so many photos I took when I was traveling. I tell you what, I'll think of something. I will think of something. Connie Bomber, you're going shopping? Ah, good for you. I like shopping. Okay, I'm just glancing at a couple of comments. Oh, is it? Oh, that is good to hear. Yeah. You know, I I mean, it would have been nice if the Sussexes had done I didn't really think about them doing a promotion for it, and I don't want them to do it if it's going to conflict with stuff with projects that they have, certainly not that. So, I think the fact that they're laying low right now is for a very good reason. So, if you love and you trust the Sussexes, just hang in there because it's obviously something really cool coming down the pike, and we're just going to have to be patient and wait for it. So, um, yes, patience, everyone, patience. It's obviously something cool is going to happen. Now, that doesn't mean that we're going to see them before the end of the year, but I hope so. Speaking of which, midnight. I guess we're going to do that again this year, huh? That is like a Royal Sussex tradition where we do the countdown in all four time zones: Eastern, Central, Mountain, and Western. We're going to do the countdown. So we'll be on for like about, what, 3.5 hours usually? And we're just going to have some fun with some of the memories from the year that has gone by. And yeah, we'll find something. I can't even think of what we did last year or the year before, but I will try to think of something fun for us to do for New Year's Eve. And I'm just going to say it right now. We are not doing a countdown for Hawaii. There's been a few people that always say, "What about Hawaii?" We ain't doing no countdown for Hawaii. Hawaii on its own. Yeah. So that is what we'll do. We're gonna hang out for New Year's, 3.5 hours, maybe 4 hours, and we're gonna make it all about the Sussexes as per usual, with a little dragging of the rest of them, of course. Um. Ooh. All right. All right. I bet you I probably have made about at least 400 videos this year with those extra, you know, edited videos. Probably about 400 videos this year. And of course, those few days, even counting those few days I was in the hospital, there will still be, I'm guessing about 400 videos this year. I just had a smoothie. I just had a smoothie. Okay. Banana, raspberry, peach slices. Of course, I used the frozen fruit, except for the bananas. I used the regular bananas and mango. Couple of scoops of vanilla yogurt, vanilla bean yogurt, frozen yogurt, vanilla bean frozen yogurt. Little splash of orange juice, little splash of apple juice. Maybe about 4 or 5 ice cubes, the little small ice cubes, and some acai. Yeah, my smoothies, they seem to get bigger by the day, but the acai, if I'm saying it right, that Brazilian like berry or whatever, I get the little frozen packs of that and throw that in there too. And adding that yogurt, better low fat frozen yogurt if you can find it, but add a couple of scoops of vanilla yogurt in there. And not only is it going to be fruity, but it's going to be very creamy and delicious. Yeah, the low fat frozen yogurt or frozen yogurt gives it that creamy taste that makes it so good. Oh, thank you, Marsha. I don't know why I thought that was Church Nelly. I saw alcohol first. That's what jumped out. I'm like, Church Nelly? Oh no. All right. Joy and Moore's son had a seizure today. So yes, please pray for him. Please pray for him. A bourbon smoothie, huh? Ooh, pomegranate, huh? Plain yogurt. I like the vanilla. I don't know. Vanilla just seems a little creamier, but the plain yogurt, there's nothing wrong with that either. And to be honest with you, with all that stuff I put in there, I'm not sure I could taste the vanilla anyway. Okay, you all. Let's it's going on 2.5 hours. Let's call it a night or a day or something like that. If you haven't watched the docu-series Polo, please go ahead and watch it. If you've seen it already, just put it on in the background while you're, you know, dusting or sweeping or mopping or cooking and all that kind of stuff. Just put it on in the background. And if you want a good reason to put it on, Daddy's gonna be there. There were several dads there. He's a dad too. Yeah, you can pick and choose. There's gonna be a few dads there. A couple of silver foxes too. So if that doesn't help you decide, I would say make sure you have a pulse. I tell you, down there in Argentina, there's something in the water. Must be that runoff from those big mountain peaks. All right. Connie says he's really cute, right? Let's see, where were we? And they call him Dad. Okay. All right. Love you guys. I'm out. See you tomorrow or see you later, whichever comes first. And thank you all for your very thoughtful and kind super chats and super stickers and thought provoking, of course. And thank you, moderators, for keeping this a safe space. Oh, okay. I bet he'd like that. Yeah, I bet he'd like that. It's so friendly down there in Argentina. All right. Okay. Good night. Good morning. Good night.